Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Atlantic Bushcraft Adventures. Tonight, episode 374. And the topic of tonight's discussion is going to be what would be the minimum amount of gear you would take heading into the woods. So, Ben, this was kind of your idea. Why don't you lead us down the thought pattern on this?
Sure thing, boss. I guess this is a bit of a twist on your EDC because honestly, I think if you walked by me and Robert at any point in time and said, "Hey, man, do you want to go for a walk in the woods?" We're pretty well ready to go. We're more or less equipped the way we would be. Um, and this isn't the fact for everyone. I know some people that have to get completely dressed for every single occasion. I think me and Robert are generally ready for the woods 24/7. You called us up and said, "Yeah, we're going for a walk in the woods." Anytime we would be able to be ready in less than 5 minutes.
Absolutely. My only caveat to that would be due to my line of work, I have to keep the stuff in my truck. But I'm never
Mm.
far from my truck, so I could go and get it and be gone.
So we'll talk a little bit about clothing, of course. We'll talk a little bit about what we carry in our pockets, what we carry on our person in other ways, and what we really feel is necessary. And this could be anything from a 10, 15-minute, hour-long walk. I think this is the standard we set. You're going for a walk for at least an hour. What do you have? Knowing that things can happen, what do you carry? And I don't think me and Robert are either overpacked. You know, some people have like a little go bag that they carry every time. We don't have that necessarily. But I do think about what do I carry in my pockets at any given time. So there's a few things that are in there. There's also like my footwear and then like, your general clothing. So let's start with that. I guess the footwear. Let's start from the bottom. Um, Generally, I always have some type of hiking style, usually higher than ankle height footwear that I can go for a quick walk. Usually somewhat waterproof, or at least water resistant and breathable. That is the minimum of what I wear. You'll probably never catch me wearing slides or Crocs, anything else outside. I don't wear open-toe sandals. I am pretty well consistently, and even if you went back to teenage Ben, I have like combat boots and that type of thing on my feet most of the time.
Yeah, and for me, I wish I said I had hiking boots. The reality is I usually wear like steel toe work boots, much like what was wearing when you were out. I keep them in the truck. Like I said, my line of work depends what I'm doing that day, which ones I have on. But a lot of times for my job, I wear sneakers just because it's easier for all what I'm doing in that job. But yeah,
Yeah.
normally if I'm going to head into the woods, I throw my steel toe work boots on only because, like Ben said, it gives ankle support. I am looking for a good set of boots that does not have steel toes for hiking and stuff like that, just so the steel doesn't dig in. My only problem, and maybe some of our listeners have this and they can maybe give me some guidance, is I have an exceptionally wide foot for its size. Like, I have to order my boots from a special company in the States. They take about 5 weeks to come, and you're looking at, $500 plus for these things because they're special order. So for anybody that's interested, I have a 10.5 foot, which is, fairly average size foot for a person my size, but mine is 6E wide. So that's not like your wide, not your extra wide. That is 6 times extra wide because I am ridiculously flat footed. My foot is almost as wide as it is long, which is scary.
Poor Robert's running around with round feet.
Pretty much. Most people think elephant going through the woods when they see me.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, and for years, honestly, I did. I wore work boots, steel toes. I often use Kevlar, carbon fiber, or whatever. The lighter shoes, if I could get them, because people said, "Oh, those are so heavy. How do you walk with them?" Honestly, I never noticed.
I was going to say, people ask me the same thing, even when I'm working at work. They're like, don't you find those boots heavy? And I'm like, I don't even notice it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I used to work in a fish factory, and I think Ben knows this for sure. Maybe I told everybody else, but we used to wear literal like rubber boots, and I used to wear chainsaw cutting boots. So that was my rubber boots. So they were steel toed, steel plated, had all the armor up the front. And everybody's like, don't you find those heavy wearing them 12, 14 hours a day? Just, you never notice. I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, I think you get used to it and it just becomes the norm. And then if you take them off, it might feel light, but while they're on, you don't even notice they're there. Uh, yeah. So we've always pushed this. Me and Robert are both fairly foot conscientious. Take care of your feet, and they'll take care of you. If you really mess up your feet, and I know people who have, I've been in situations with people who've had foot issues, and it is a big deal. It can really mean having to get help getting out. And when I was in search and rescue, I have sent people home for their footwear. I looked at their feet and I'm like, you are not going in the woods wearing that footwear,
Oh, on
right?
fire scenes or going like natural resources, you'd see people showing up trying to help good people wearing sneakers. And not like good hiking sneakers, like running sneakers, tennis sneakers. And you're like, what are you going to do with those? Well, I'm going to go in the woods and help you. No, no, you're not. You're a liability, man. Like, thank you. You can stay here and be a gopher, but you're not going in there.
And I had one guy, he showed up like the side of his shoe was gone. Like you could see his toe and the arch. Like it was bad. And I'm like, no, no, like that's flopping up. When you walk, it claps. It goes click, 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 click. Like, no, absolutely not. Go buy a new pair of boots.
He put
So
the hole in for air conditioning, man. It's coming next week.
he's like, oh, it just got comfortable. They just broke it in. Oh no, they're gone.
But once upon a time, that was true. You could break in a good pair of shoes, but you could get them resold. You would go to a cobbler and they would put a new insole on it. Red Wings used to do this a lot. Do you remember Red Wing boots?
Still around.
Yeah, you used to be able to get them resold and they'd repair just a part, and you could literally use those for a long time. And if you're wondering what I keep laughing about over here, folks, just Danny poking fun at me, calling me Sam Squanch, which is eerily accurate. It used to be my nickname. But yeah, no. But you can't do that anymore. Most things are disposable, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality. And once things get wore out, they do become a liability in the woods. So good footwear is kind of definitely where it starts. Like Ben said, you take care of your feet, they take care of you. Think of it like a motorcycle. You usually only have a couple inches contacting the ground at any time to keep you steady. Your feet's no different. That's what keeps you moving, what keeps you safe, and what keeps you going forward or getting out of the woods. So it is good to invest a little bit of time and money, unfortunately, into that part.
So next up for me, I mean, we're still down there. I'm going to talk a little bit about socks. That's changed a bit over the years. I now buy a much higher quality sock. A good quality sock wicks away moisture, keeps your feet dry, keeps them comfortable, and definitely helps prevent chafing and other issues. I'm not going to tell you what material necessarily to buy, but I am going to say buying the cheapest sports sock out there is probably not your best solution. And if you are getting chafing, if you are getting, galled up heels and things like that, definitely consider A, your footwear, but B, your socks and keeping them protected. Again, your feet are important. I won't focus as much on that, but yeah, just a good pair of socks.
100%. And the last thing I'd add on to that before we abandon feet is learn to lace up your shoes or boots or whatever it is that you wear, because there is a right way and there is a wrong way for hiking or just comfort. Well, not comfort necessarily, but for hiking or lounging. You know what I mean? If you can slip your shoe on and off without tying it, you probably don't have it right for a couple-hour hike. My 2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want them flopping around. You don't want them loose. You don't want to have to like bunch your feet up to keep them on your foot. And I think this is part of the problem you see with some people with the slides and stuff like that. Yeah, they stay on because you have to actually alter your foot to do it. It prevents you from walking well. If I could do it barefoot, I would. Unfortunately, rocks are sharp, sticks are sharp, and I have thin skin on my feet. So I am always going to be wearing footwear. Above that, I guess we'll get into pants. I generally wear decent quality pair of pants, rarely shorts, like maybe 2 times a year. Honest, I swear, I kid you not. I own shorts. I don't wear shorts. And I always have something with pockets because there is going to be stuff in my pockets. And I'm virtually always have a belt.
Oh yeah, I have to have a belt. Going into the woods, going anywhere, anything I wear, I have a leather belt specifically. Because you can deburr a knife. You can do a lot with a belt if you know how to use it. Now, I comfortably wear shorts, just not in the woods. I wear them around home, much like slip-ons and stuff like that. They're my home attire. I literally have a pair of flip-flops, but it's my house slippers. I don't take them outside. They stop at the door. I wear shorts around the house. I like it. But if I'm going into the woods, pants for sure. A couple reasons here. One, as Ben said, you want the extra cargo space. You want them to fit. You want them to protect you from scratches and nicks and thorns and brambers and briars and stuff like that. Plus bugs. It gives you a little bit of coverage on your skin to cover up for mosquito bites, black flies, ticks, things like that. Tucking your pant legs into your socks, though it looks a little goofy, gives you a little better protection. Now, when it comes to material, something I avoid, but I know you've worn in the past, Ben, and had good luck with, is like jeans or any real heavy material. I try to get something that's fairly strong, but fairly light. I like ripstop material. Ones that I happen to go for are like TAC 511s, or I think they're called Poplar or something like that. And they're basically like they're, I don't know how, they call them a commando pant, but that's not what they are. They're like a BDU kind of thing. And anyway, they got, cargo pockets. They're a light material. They're a lighter color, so they show things rather well. They got the ripstop, double seams, and double layered in like the pants and crotch and knees and areas like that where it really counts. So that's something I looked for, and they're not terribly expensive comparatively. They're like $50 a pair, but $50 for a decent pair of pants that I'm going to use for like 5 years, and literally that's about how long they last for me, even beating the absolute snot out of them. It's really not a bad investment.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I've bought a ton of different types of pants over the years. I do sometimes buy the zip offs. If I'm going to be wearing shorts, most likely it's something I zipped off, and then I'll take them off for a little bit of time during the day. I like them because oftentimes they do come with the extra cargo pockets. I've bought the ones from Costco, BC Clothing. I've also bought the ones, and I've had surprisingly good luck with these from Giant Tiger. They have a zip off pair of pants that are surprisingly good for the price. And they're like 15-20 bucks a pair. And they are really cheap. I've bought ones from Mark's Work Warehouse, their brand, Wind River, whatnot, and they've lasted half as long as the ones from Giant Tigers. So, and I paid probably 50-60 bucks for those. So, yeah, take some time to figure out what you want. But yeah, for the reasons you mentioned, for defense against weather and the environment, I like a long pair of pants.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, just something from the comments here before we go too far past, because I just missed it and just popped up. Patrick Morrissey, sock liners when we were talking about feet. I've never really worn sock liners myself. You got any experience with them, Ben? I know what they are. I've just never really worn them, so I don't have an opinion.
Not really. I mean, the closest thing I could talk about would be I knew guys in the military that wore two pairs of socks because the wool socks chafed them, so they wore
Like
that as
Gore-Tex or something underneath them, right? Like that. That's my
just a sports
familiarization
sock.
with it. Was much like you. It was the militia. A couple of my buddies used to put Gore-Tex and then wool.
Yeah, I have a waterproof pair of socks I wear occasionally too, and I don't think that's what he's referring to. So I would have to know a bit more. Not something I'm into. Not that I wouldn't consider it.
I just got no experience. That's all.
I have used gaiters. That would be more of an outer layer to protect the area between the ankle and your clothing and sort of keep things off your sock. And it can keep dirt and rocks and dust and stuff out of your shoes. But I wouldn't call that part of my everyday kit. That is when I'm going something a little bit more extreme. So they sit in my backpack. I think there's generally a set in my hip bag on my backpack. But yeah, that might be the closest I can talk about.
Fair enough. And just before we abandon pants, I did mention jeans, and I seen you perk up a little bit. So I'll let you get your 2 cents in on jeans. Like I said, it's just my preference, not that I'm against them. Personally, I found them a little heavy, hard to move in, and didn't breathe well. But mileage varies. Once again, I know you've used them and had good luck with them.
So there are jeans vary quite a bit. I think that just saying jeans alone is too broad of a term to knock them all down. The heaviest work jeans, yes, could be a little bit stiff and heavy and probably don't breathe that well. There are many jeans that are lighter but still offer significant protection. I have worn jeans for years. The issues is yes, generally they are cotton. They will hold moisture longer. And people have had problems regulating temperature with them. They can be either too hot or get really cold. If they get damp, they take a lot longer to dry. And if you're not lucky, and I have experienced this, you can end up getting a lot of chafing with jeans where other pants can be less likely to chafe. So there are risks. Can you do it for a short walk? Absolutely. If you're experienced and know what you're doing and comfortable, I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you're inexperienced, I'd recommend you do it with extreme caution and probably just avoid it and get a good pair of, like, if there's something that's going to take it a little bit better, decent cargo pants will be fine. So, yeah.
All right.
Do you want to talk about what's in our pants?
Well, Ben, I thought you'd never ask. This is supposed to be a family show. But yeah, no, generally carrying in my pockets, like I said, for my everyday. If I'm not working because I have a job that, frowns upon me carrying anything that be considered a weapon, generally I have a multi-tool, usually in a pouch on my hip, something like a Leatherman or those Burby ones that you and I had gotten, something like that. I actually still love that. That sits in my truck almost as a daily driver. I still carry my Leatherman, but that Burby one just sits in my truck in the center console, and I use that no less than about 5 times a week. And those little pair of pliers, which is also in my usually jacket pocket, I use those no less than at least 5 times a week at my job, to be perfectly honest with you, because the pliers I can carry. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, sounds great. I often like a multi-tool, not necessarily part of my minimum kit, but I do like it. I don't always carry something strapped to my belt. I like to have the belt in case I do decide to strap something to it. It is very convenient. I did just grab into my pocket, and I kid you not, like, this is my house keys, and I have on here a little tiny Opinel knife. So remember years ago when we didn't have Opinels and people gave us a hard time about it? I now have that's possibly the smallest Opinel knife, and that lives in my pocket. I have a very sharp small blade that I can use at any point in time, and it's very useful. It's not heavy duty. I wouldn't be able to do heavy carving or anything severe with this, but it does come in handy. There's also just a little flashlight. This thing works extremely well, as you can see. Just pull it off and it lights up right away. It means I always have a little bit of light. There's also attached to this a pen. This is a fully functioning Night Eyes pen that can come to be reassembled in a way that's about the size of a regular pen. These are 3 tools on one tool thing that come with me all the time.
So I just popped this off my knife because we're talking about small knives, and now it's time to have some fun. I see your Opinel, and I raise you the smallest folder I have ever found. And this stays on my keychain, and it's a real carbon steel. Well, no, actually, it's high steel blade, holds a great edge, like it's razor sharp. It wasn't cheap. It's not a cheap knockoff. This thing was like 50, 60 bucks. There was a Kickstarter for it, and I backed it, and unfortunately, I don't think they ever followed through with it, but I did get one of the prototypes.
Nice.
So
yeah, and I carry a more like full-size purpose-built knife. And I love this one because it actually comes with a pair of tweezers and a toothpick, and I use that very regularly. And I don't know that I go anywhere without these. So if a job told me I couldn't go to work with those in my pocket anymore, I think me and the job would be having a long conversation about.
It's hard for me to do it, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. But depending, if I'm working remote, they don't care. So like, story for after. Anyway, I'm not gonna eat up tonight's time.
Anyways, why are you in my pockets? Like, stay out of my pockets. But I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, I grew up in a world where carrying a pocket knife was the norm.
Yep.
And honestly, I think it's culture for me now. Like, yeah, I hurt when I don't have it.
Oh no, 100%.
Right. So that's kind of what's in my pocket. I have other car keys that will come and go. I have ones I need to get in my house. I carry a wallet. In my wallet, I always have a little bit of cash, all my cards and stuff that I could need. And there's always there is a phone in my pocket. I refuse to show that because it's an iPhone. I have to carry it because somebody makes me, but my real phone we're doing this on.
Most times I have no idea where my phone is. Like right now, if you were like, Rob, where's your phone? I'm like, I'd have no idea. I'd have to use my watch to page it. I generally don't know where my phone is.
We'll get to that in a bit. And I carry a pair of headphones almost always. Shockingly used very little, but if I need to use the phone where there's a lot of people or I just want to watch a video or something, I can quickly flip that in. Or if I don't want to disturb people in the area, it comes in handy. That's what's in my pocket at almost any time. Other than that, there may be a trinket of something I'm playing with. I have the habit of having to have something in my hands to mess with. So sometimes it's a piece of wood or a tool. I think right now I have an Allen key in my pocket. And it's just because I want something to twiddle and fart with in my hand. But yeah, so that's kind of what goes in my pocket. If I'm going for an hour or 15 minutes or a day, this is the minimum. If I don't have my knife, my flashlight, I don't know what's going to happen. Those are two things that can make the difference for me being able to make shelter or fix something that I need to quickly.
Andrew asked you a question. What's the brand on the knife with the tweezers?
The knife with the tweezers.
You said you carry a specific knife or a knife in your pocket that has a pair of tweezers on it.
1 second. Think
CIVIVI, if that helps you out there, Andrew.
that is the one.
CVV?
I don't know the model of it, but that's the make. Civi. My brother found them. He recommended. I found them at Knife and Things. I found them on Amazon. I lost my original one. This one is the green one with the red liner liners in it. But it's a single blade, easy to deploy, like real quick. Just a little finger trigger right there, and it comes with a nice pair of tweezers and the toothpick.
The Civi Tack and Tweeze, I think, is what it's coming up as on their website. Yeah, I think that's fairly close to it. So check out the CVV, whatever the brand name is, Tack and Tweeze. And they have a couple different options there.
Other than that, there's often a Swiss Army. I think I've misplaced my Swiss Army. I may have to get a new one.
Oh, Ben.
Happens once every 10, 15 years. I have to replace it.
Ben, I thought better of you, buddy. We'll have to talk about that later.
It's probably in my camping gear.
I was going to say, it's probably in a bag. You know that, right?
I haven't seen it since the last camping trip, so it could even be right here. I don't know. I have other things. There's other knives and stuff if I'm making larger trips that'll probably be on my gear. That just happens to be the stuff in that particular setup. I think it's really important to have good stuff.
No, 100%. There is places where you can save money, and then there's places where it's worth to spend a little bit. And your EDCs or the stuff that you carry in your pocket, seeing you're going to be carrying it all the time, that is definitely a good spot to spend a couple of bucks. Like, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to break the bank. You don't need a $700 knife. But a dollar store knife may also be kind of the extreme end off the other side. You know what I mean? You want something that's going to hold its edge. It's going to work for the majority of things you're doing with it. So for me, like my knife, I use it a lot around the truck and stuff like that. I might be cutting a branch. I might be cutting a piece of rope. I might be cutting a wire, different things like that. So I wanted something that had a good hard edge on it. Didn't necessarily have to be super sharp. You know, I didn't need to be able to shave the hair on my arm with no weight on it, but it had to have a pretty robust edge. So I grabbed something with a little higher, harder steel. You know what I mean? So you can kind of tailor it that way. And once again, don't have to break the bank.
No. And I think that's important. I use my knives daily. I really do for something. It comes in handy way more often than you might think. So if you're not used to carrying a knife, I highly recommend you start. And you'll find that you'll find more and more reasons to use it, and things that you would have just probably accepted that the thread can't be cut because you don't have a knife. You'll realize, hey, I can do this now. I can do that. You see something, you can fix it right away. It's not something you have to put off. That's important to me. So yeah, that's stuff I carry on me.
You know what I use
all the time.
Just before we disappear, you know what I use on mine? A surprisingly amount that actually surprised me how much I used it. And now it's a necessity on any kind of everyday pocket tool that I'm going to be carrying.
What?
Scissors.
I love scissors.
You know why I needed scissors so much? Because I have an autistic daughter and she can't stand the tag on anything she owns. So literally it used to be, oh, we have to wait till we get home to cut that off. Now it's like, yep, just give me a sec. Pop the multi-tool out, snip it with the scissors. Things are great.
Oh, man. I find, like, with the beard, every now and then I find a long hair, I just cut it. You know what I'm talking about. Or a
I
fingernail.
got one here that's like 5 inches longer than the rest.
I get a fingernail with like a small chip out of it or something that's bothering me. I'll clear it up with. Here's something I have. I 3D printed these. I know they look like mushrooms. They are tokens for like
Geocaching?
no the shopping carts. Put them in. Don't have to put
Oh,
and you twist them 90 degrees or like 35 degrees. You just twist them a little bit and they'll come out. So you don't have to leave your coin in there. You can disconnect them.
Ben the pirate over here is telling people how to get away with stuff. But I mean, it's a cool thing.
I printed them up. I printed them for my wife. The mother-in-law was up a little while ago. I think she left with a dozen of them. I have one for the quarter and one for the dollar. And it works, man. Like, comes in handy. And it just means, like, otherwise I used to have to carry the change. And, it was just, somebody somewhere is going to get upset about this. But I've seen that now they're selling these commercially. So it exists. So we got we're already at a half hour. We have to keep going. Above that, just any old t-shirt really usually is a minimum for me. Long sleeve if it's sunny or if the weather's going to be a little bit more, but at the very least, a solid t-shirt that dries relatively well, something that can wick away moisture. It doesn't have to be anything special. They sell decent t-shirts even at the dollar store at times. I bought a whole bunch of light black, blue, and white t-shirts from the dollar store a while ago. I love them. I wear them most evenings. I come home, if my shirt's not super comfortable, off it goes. The lighter, flowy t-shirt goes on, and I'm comfortable for the evening. That's a minimum for me. Next, you mentioned yours. I'm going to mention mine. I carry a watch pretty well 24/7. In my youth, I didn't. I used to break them too often. I finally became less clumsy, a little more aware of where my body was hitting things. Maybe I haven't shattered a lens in one in a while now.
I about every 4 months I gotta replace mine. But I get these thin clips on the top of it. It shatters and the watch usually stays fine. I just can't wear it until the new one comes in.
I went with a Garmin watch. I will tell people the reason for that. Garmin does everything I need it to do, and I only charge it about once a month. I could not survive with a watch that needs to be charged every day. I've had people come to me, oh, you should get an Apple Watch. It's so good. It's so great. It's awesome. You can do this. You can do that. And I'm like, how often do I have to charge it? Oh, every night. And I'm like, absolutely not. I cannot have that. Take the garbage away from me. And I'm not picking on Apple. Anyone else that has a watch that charges every couple of days?
I got a Google watch. I have to charge it every night. Same thing.
Not doing it. I can't handle it. This thing is about as close as you can get to what's the Casio really tough ones that everyone used?
Oh, the G-Shocks, whatever they were.
The G-Shock. It's about as close as you can get to a G-Shock and yet being much better than a G-Shock. I can call my phone on this, so if I lose my phone, I can find it. I can check my GPS coordinates. It gives me my heart rate, my health information. I can see texts as they come through. It can tell me where the moon is. It can help me with all kinds of stuff. There's so many settings in it. It's unreal. I can hook it up to my InReach device and send messages if I need to. So even if I become physically separated from my phone and my InReach, if my watch is still on my person and they're active, I can access them to do stuff. So it does everything I need it to do. That is my choice of a watch. If there's something out there you like better, absolutely go.
No, 100%.
These are my reasons and my reasons alone.
The minimum I recommend, and I do recommend to watch anybody that's going in the woods, and the minimum I'd recommend is hopefully you understand how to read an analog watch, a good analog watch, because with that, you can find the cardinal directions as long as you can see the sun. So it kind of pulls a double duty, and being able to time things, it's great in getting a lost situation or just when you're traveling. It gives you some reference as well. Sometimes if you get deep enough in the woods, you literally lose track of days, time, nothing seems to matter anymore, which is nice at the time, but when you come back to society, you kind of want to click back in. And like I said, it also gives a sense of maybe I should be getting out of here too, you know what I mean? Or maybe I should be setting up camp. It keeps you more on pace until you get those skills to do it from your own internal chronometer.
Absolutely. If you know how to use it, like you said, you can find north, south. More modern watches often have it built in. So even some of the G-Shocks that don't have compasses in, this one has a built-in compass. That is useful. I like those functions. Same thing with the phone. The reason I have a phone on me all the time is I have access to maps. I can call for help. The functionality in modern phones is so much better. And a lot of the newer ones, I don't think mine does it, but most higher end phones that are newer than mine now have a built-in ability to send emergency messages through satellite systems. So I know iPhone, the newer Samsungs, all that, they have this. That doesn't necessarily replace my inReach. And if I'm going for much more than a few hours, inReach is now in my system. But just for an hour or two, I probably wouldn't bother. I'll probably be in cell surface for most of that trip anyways. So there's that. And do you want to talk a bit about that, or
The only thing I was going to flip in, just from a different perspective, is me and shirts. If I'm going
yeah,
into the woods or even for a walk for any amount, I've gotten really big on the UV full sleeve shirts. I generally wear an undershirt, very thin cotton shirt just to have underneath. One, it helps with the chafing and stuff like that because I don't necessarily like the feel of the material of the UV shirts on my chest and back. It is a little weird. It's a little form fitting if you can, believe that. But anyway, I like the undershirt, and then I put these on, and it's become the standard for me going out in the summer. Only because one, I sunburn real easy. Anybody that's seen my pictures online, I'm always wearing a wide brim hat because and I'm not joking, folks. I can walk by the oven and get a sunburn. Like it's not far above, being false. I have gone outside, like walked to the mailbox and back on a hot day, talked to the neighbor for like 2 minutes and come in with a sunburn.
yeah, yeah.
So I just have to wear it. It is a necessity for me. And frankly, they don't get super hot. Everybody's like, don't you find that hot? And it's like, it gives the illusion of being hot until you start doing something. And then they breathe incredibly well. And the way they kind of wick moisture away and evaporate it a little faster, I almost find it cooler than not wearing a long sleeve shirt or wearing a t-shirt. I actually genuinely feel a little cooler in it once I actually start moving around and stuff. I'm just standing there and not really sweating. The sun's just beating on me. Yeah, it's a little hotter, but once I get moving around, I genuinely find it cooler.
Good point. And I mean, you mentioned the hat. I'll mention it too. I have a bunch of hats that I do wear. It's not a constant. It wouldn't necessarily be my minimum, but it's normal. Uh, a wide brim hat. Oftentimes, like I like a Tilly or Tilly style, because they fit well. They have a little pocket and you can stick a $20 bill or something in them. And that's it. That is like my minimum gear. And I know that took like a whole episode to go through, really. But
Last
if
thing
you're
I would have
thinking,
on there, Ben, is these. And I literally have a pair within reach anywhere in the house. I always
oh,
have sunglasses on.
good point.
You know what I mean? And all my sunglasses, if you come into my house and pick up a pair of sunglasses that are mine, guaranteed they're safety glasses. They have a safety rating, a minimum ISO standard. One, for my everyday activities, I don't have to change glasses. I'm going to the outside to grind a piece of metal, glasses just stay on. You know what I mean? All that changes is the function. But they have they have good UV protection. They have great eye protection. And with a small sensitivity to light, I just can't stand being outside. And people see me wearing them in the winter and rainy days and stuff like that. Like, why are you wearing those? I generally wear them more in the winter and cloudy days because my
Absolutely.
eyes have a hard time adjusting.
Absolutely. Winter is some of the worst time on eyes and sunburns and stuff too. Especially your face because you reflect up off the snow as well as down below. You can go get sunburned and sun or snow blind so much quicker and easier. So that's I don't know what everyone thought about this particular episode, but that is a quick and dirty one of the minimum stuff we go out with. And please keep in mind this is the minimum. We would not be out there in less than this. There are plenty of other things we would take. There's things we would recommend. And if you're going for much longer than an hour, you would definitely want to consider some of those things. That's not the point of this episode, so we're not going to go into this. I'd
This
love to
is
hear.
if you were just walking down the road and you're like, hey, where's that trail go? This is what's in your pockets.
Right? Let us know what you think. What do you carry? Is this too much for you? Is it not enough? Some of you guys, I'm sure, are a lot higher. I know some people would insist on a multi-tool. I know some people, depending on where you're to, might insist on something that's a little bit more impressive. Maybe a full-size knife or other things. And if you're further up north or in certain places, maybe something that's got some firepower is something that you consider. these are legit for some people in some locations, just not a minimum for us, right?
No, and that's the thing. There is no perfect answer. There's only perfect what works for you and what makes sense to keep you safe.
Yeah. If I was somewhere there's all kinds of rattlesnakes and stuff, I might consider something else too.
Little vial of anti-venom might be going into the pockets at all times.
Yeah. Small first aid kit, whatever, right? If you know me and Robert, that first aid kit is rarely far. Like there's one in
I got a
our
crash
in all
bag
our
in the truck.
vehicles. Yeah. So I'd love to hear what everyone else's thoughts are. Let us know. Send us a message if there's something that you think we should start carrying. But yeah, something like a whistle maybe. But there's some thoughts. Anyways, you want to say some goodbyes or?
No, I just thought this might have been a ground search and rescue one. I was going to say, I think I got this from you, Ben, but it's not, unfortunately. Maybe I got like 5 of these sitting here. Yeah, there you go. Ground search and rescue. It's a whistle light. There it is. Anyway, nope. Final words here is it's just food for thought, folks. All of this, most of our episodes are just food for thought. We don't pretend to be masters of the subject, just people that have been out, made the mistakes, and you know what? We just report back what works for us, and maybe it gets things thinking about what works for you. And hopefully that makes your outing there a little bit more enjoyable. And it gives you more reason to get out there because, I mean, nowadays, there's more reason than ever just to get out in the woods and kind of disconnect. Every time you turn the TV on, it seems like it's bad news lately.
Yeah.
But so that's a topic for a different day.
Yeah. Get out there, have fun, enjoy yourself. Let us know how it goes.
Night, folks. We'll see you next week.